Hello, sorry. Trying to make this as non-long-winded as possible, but so much to try to cover in just a short amount of time, so I had to split it up into two videos here. But in wrapping up about everything, I had my evaluation with him at the end of the day, where he kind of filled out, obviously, the paperwork, and it was really comforting because he was really enthusiastic about my teaching overall. He thought I had a great rapport with the kids. He thought I was planned and prepared well for what I was able to do. And if you actually look, and he wanted me to point this out, a lot of times, he felt that I was better than acceptable in areas, and if I didn't exceed expectations, then he at least wanted to put it in between because he hated just putting acceptable down. So a lot of the boxes are either exceeds expectations, which you'll see, or above acceptable. The only thing he wasn't really able to assess was the maintained accurate records because, I didn't do any formal assessment in that sense where I was actually grading papers or doing anything like that. Um, as well as used correct conventions and written documentation, again, for the same reason. But overall, he was, like I said, he was really pleased. He said it, even at one point, I went above and beyond for extra help and how's it, how was it put here? Non-instructional classroom duties, and as well as taking criticism in well and applying it again, and and improving. So overall, he was, like I said, he was very pleased. He gave me some of his best words of encouragement or constructive criticisms that he gave me. Well, it was talking about empty praise, which you do see in the video. I do say good a lot without necessarily the explanation of why something is good, which is honestly a characteristic of mine I've never totally noticed in my teaching until he mentioned it. And he said that maybe, pointing out, well, I like the articulations here, or you followed the rhythms here, or something like that would maybe have been more beneficial to them than just saying good. So, excuse me. But overall, he was very helpful, very willing to give me assistance where I needed it, and as well as to kind of just let me, his goal for the week was kind of just to let me get my hands dirty and just get in it, which was probably the best thing that I could have, especially going into student teaching next semester. Not being as comfortable in a band setting, if I'm able to be doing this well, then I feel even more confident in my ability to maybe teach, a string program or work with strings. I feel much more confident now knowing that I could teach an instrument that I wasn't as well versed in. So I would say that this experience has been probably one of the better ones I've had in college in terms of just real world applications and real world understanding of what being a teacher really is. This was really an eye-opening experience. I'm so glad I got to work with him, and he was so kind. He said even if I can't find a student teaching placement, he'd be happy to have me back if worse came to worse or something like that. And all of this was just very comforting and made me feel truly prepared to go out and student teach. So, with wrapping that up, I'll be including my kind of sloppy handwritten notes for the days in there, but I figure this might maybe give you a better representation of how my week was. And honestly, even in all that I've talked about, I've probably barely scratched the surface, but at least you get an idea of how my week went and how excited I was to be able to do all of this. So, I thank you very much, Dr. Ferguson, and I hope you have a very nice summer. All right, bye bye.